4. High mountains, rocky peaks. A cloud comes up, attaches itself, settles on a ledge of rock, and divides, emerging.
Here, at this outermost mountain brink where, stepping cautiously, I can look sheer down into deepest depths of solitude. I relinquish the cloud chariot that conveyed me gently over land and sea, through the serene atmosphere, and now slowly disengaging itself. Now scattering begins to move eastward in a single mass. My eye follows it closely with astonishment to see it divining, shifting, changing with a wave-like motion. But surely now it is taking shape. Yes, there's no doubt of it. A wonderful giant form, a woman's form, recycling on a sunlit couch, divine looking like Juno or like Leda. Oh, it might be Helen. Majestic, and how lovely too. But quivering to the sight already, it has broken up and comes to rest across the eastern sky, a formless pie like distant dazzling ice peaks, mirroring for me the deep meaning of those fleeting days. But what is this delicate shading wisp of cloud that comes and woos me cool to the brow, refreshing, and now lightly, hesitatingly, rises higher and higher and gathers into one? Am I deluded, or do I see a rapturous image of what I prized and cherished most in youth and love so long ago, aware of my earliest emotions sweeps through me? Don't love it is that brilliancy, and that the first look so quickly felt, so little understood, which, if one could only keep it, would outshine everything it was. Beauty of soul, the essence of it, the gracious image shows me now, and it holds. It mounts into the higher air and takes the best of me along with it.
A 7-league boot clumps down. A second boot follows. Mephistopheles dismounts. The boots stride off.
That was some walking, if you ask me. But what's your idea? Dismounting in the midst of these horrors, these ghostly greeny rocks? I know them well enough, though not just here, because, strictly speaking, this used to be the floor of hell. You're never at a loss for crazy mythology. Now you're at it again.
Solemnly.
When the Lord God, and I know why, threw us out of the air into the lowest depths of hell, where a central fire was blazing internally, we had plenty of illumination. But we were in a very crowded and awkward spot. The devils all began to poof from above, and below to put the fire out. There was an awful as stink of sulphur everywhere, and a pressure of gas so stupendous that it burst through the flat crust of earth, thick as it was, with a great bang. And now it's a different story. What was once the bottom is now the top. They're based on this the very series they need to stand things on their heads. Anyway, we escaped that hot imprisonment under the earth and gained the freedom and dominion of the air, an open secret, well preserved and not revealed to the world till later. Those mountains, noble as they are, have nothing to say to me. I ask neither why nor whence. When nature established herself, she neatly rounded off the earthly sapphire, assembling the rocks and the hills, taking her pleasure in peaks and chains, and leading down by easy stage to the foothills and the lowlands, where all is greenery and growth. Nature can rejoice in this without needing your wide upheavals. That's what you say. You think it's all clear. But those who were there know better. I was there myself, and saw the abyss boiling and flaming, the Moloch with his hammer shattering the rocks and hurling mountain fragments all over the place. The land is still littered with these erotic blocks. Who can explain the force that held them? The philosophers can do nothing with it. The rock is there, and there we let it lie after cudgeling our brains to no purpose. But the common people, in their decency, have always understood, and are not to be shaken in their belief. They know it's a miracle, and Satan gets the credit. This is the crunch of faith that brings the traveler hobbling to the devil's rock and the devil's bridge. While it's useful to have a glimpse of nature from the devil's point of view, let nature be as it may. What do I care? This is a point of honor. The devil was in on it. We are the ones to achieve greatness, tumult, violence, madness. Behold the sign! But nonsense apart, is there nothing that satisfies you on this earth of ours? You're so hard to please. You've surveyed the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them in all their vastness. Is there anything at all you'd like to do?
There is, indeed. A great thing has taken hold of me. Guess what it is.
That's easy. Me, I'd seek out one of those big cities with people scrapping for food in the heart of it. Twisted narrow streets, pointing roofs, a smallish marketplace, all cabbages and carrots and onions, butcher's stall infested with flies, feasting on the fat joints. Plenty of bust, plenty of stinks. All the day long then I'd have open squares and broad streets for my upper-class pretensions, and finally endless suburbs, unchecked by city walls, and there I'd ride around in a carriage up and down in all the noisy strewn of human ant heaps, and wherever I went, driving or on horseback, I'd be the center of attraction, honored by thousands, hundreds of thousands.
That wouldn't do for me. One likes to see the people prospering and living well in their fashion, and even studying and getting educated. But in the end, it only makes rebels of them.
Then I'd proudly build myself a fancy castle on some pleasant seat, with lovely gardens, woods, fells, hills, and lawns all round it, rows of trees, and velvety turf, straight walks, and shady seats, well planned, waterfalls trampling over rocks, fountains of every kind, impressive here, petty and bidding in many another place. Then I'd build some intimate little cottages to house my pretty ladies, and I'd spend endless time there in sweet seclusion. I said ladies because I always think of them in the plural.
Vulgar and up to date, like Sardanapalus.
How is anyone to guess what you want? No doubt something vast and bold. You've just been traveling through the upper air, so I dare say you want the moon?
Far from it. This earth is roomy enough for great deeds. I mean to astonish the world, and I have the energy for it.
So it's fame you want. This comes from the heroic company you've kept.
Not fame. Fame is nothing. I want action. I want property, power.
There'll be plenty of poets to sing your achievement to posterity and perpetuate your folly.
What should you know of man's desire? You simply haven't it in you. With a nature like yours, all hatred and bitterness, how should you grasp the human need?
Have a way then. Let me hear the extent of your latest craze.
The open sea arrested my attention. I watched it and saw how it mounted and vaulted and then relaxed and sped its storm waves along the level shore. And this annoyed me. A man of free mind, who respects the rights of others, is always uneasy when he sees arrogance asserting itself immoderately violently, and it was like this here. I thought it might be an accident, and I looked again more closely. The waves hated, rolled back, and withdrew from their proud conquest. The hour will come, and they'll do it all over again.
To the audience. Nothing new in that for me. I've seen it for hundreds and thousands of years. Excitedly.
The water comes creeping up, burying itself, to spread its barrenness wherever it goes. In every hole and corner, now it has floated the desolate stretch of land, and there waves up and waves round. Then they recede, and nothing has been gained. It nearly drives me mad to see the elements so uncontrolled, wasting their energy so blindly, and here my spirit goes out and boldly resolves to make this its battleground and prove itself the master. And it is possible. With its fluid nature, water can slip past any hairlock. However much it rages, a slight rise
can divert it. A slight drop can pull it down. Seeing this, I quickly made my plans, get permission to exclude the Emperor's ocean from the shore, set limits to its watery expanse, and force it back on itself. What satisfaction that would be! Step by step, I sought it out. This is my wish. Help me to achieve it. Distant drums and metro music from behind the audience. On the right. I see no difficulty there. Do you hear those drums in the distance?
Yes, war again. No man in his senses would welcome it.
War or peace, it's sensible to try and get what you can out of it. We all watch for opportunities that favor us. While FAUST, the opportunities here. Seize it.
Spare me this enigmatic jargon. Come to the point. What do you mean? Out with it.
I couldn't help observing unhood that our worthy empire is in great straits. You know what he's like. When we were entertaining him and put that paper money in his hands, he thought the whole world was his. He'd be given his crown early in life, and he drew the false conclusion, very comfortable for himself, that it was both easy and desirable to rule the empire and have his own fun at the same time.
A gross mistake. A ruler must find his reward in rulership. His heart is filled with a strong will and purpose, but no man must be able to fathom it. Only his intimates may share the secret. Then when the work is done, the whole world will be amazed, and he will retain his supreme authority and prestige. Self-indulgence debases.
It's not like that he indulged himself, and how? Meanwhile, the empire lapsed into anarchy, great and small, at one another's throats on every side. Brothers banishing and murdering brothers, castles warring with castles, cities with cities, guides with nobles, bishops with chapters and people. Merely exchange glasses with a man, and you were enemies. Your life wasn't safe in the church. It was all up with a merchant or journeyman if he ventured beyond the city gates. People got bolder and bolder. You had to stand up for yourself, or you were a goer. Well, things dragged on their way.
Dragged on. Hobbled, fell down, got up, trembled again, and rolled to a stop.
And you couldn't explain about it either. Everyone had his rights and was able to assert them. Any juvenile could play the adult, but in the end, the best people, the sound people, got fed up. They roused themselves in a body and said, whoever can bring the country to order can rule it. The emperor can't and won't. Let us elect a new emperor who will revive the empire, give us security and wed peace with justice in a newly created world.
That sounds like the priesthood talking.
Priests it was. Seeing to their own fat bellies, they had more to lose than any. The revolt spread and became respectable, and our empire, whom we made happy, has withdrawn to this spot, perhaps to fight his last fight.
I'm sorry for him. He was so kind and open.
Come, where there's life, there's hope. We'll have a look. Suppose we rescue him from this narrow path. Once out of it, he'll be safe henceforth. Who knows which way the dice will fall, and if he has the luck, he'll soon have a following. They cross the lower hills and inspect the disposition of the army in the valley. Drums and metro music are heard below. I see the position is well chosen. We'll join them and the victory's won.
What's the good of it? Trickery, illusion, nothing else.
No military cunning to win battles. Remember your purpose and keep your mind on big issues. If we can restore throne and country to the empire, all you will have to do will be to kneel down and be presented with an endless shoreline in fief.
You've done so much. Why not go in and win a battle?
Not me. You'll win it. You're the commander-in-chief this time.
That would be the limit. Ensuring orders where I don't know a thing.
Leave it to the general staff. And the field marshal has nothing to fear. I know what a mass war is, and I've appointed my council in good time from among the gold giants. If you can assemble them, you're lucky.
What's that over there? An armed force. Have you roused all the mountain folk?
No, just the cream of the lot, like Shakespeare's queens. Enter the three giants. Why, here the boys come. You see, they're not all the same age, not dressed the same way, nor armed the same way. They'll serve you well. To the audience. Nowadays, everyone loves to see a knight in armor. And if these witches are allegorical, so much the better. Young, lightly armed, gaily dressed. Whoever faces up to me gets my first in his teeth right away. Cowards that run, I grab them by the hair. In his best year, well armed, richly dressed. Empty scrapping, not worth a thing, a waste of time. Get hold of what you can and let the rest wait. Old, well armed, not in mail.
That won't get you far either. You can soon run through a great fortune. Getting hold is good, but keeping's better. Just you leave it to the old man, and you'll lose nothing.
They all go downhill.